All right, guys, tuning in again. We've got your team authority here, the second placing team twice in a row. Huge improvement from these guys in the last comp, but don't really need to introduce them, but I'll give you a quick rundown. We've got Pips, who's in my top left here, Benno, then you've got Junior and Nemesis in the bottom right there as well. So we're just going to chat about the last few games that they played and get a rundown on what they thought about the competition and that type of thing. So what I wanted to start with you guys is how did you guys feel like you went as far as improvement from the last comp?
I mean, just from analyzing our gameplay, I definitely think we improved. It's kind of hard to tell since they played a sub, but yeah, just from looking at our own gameplay, I think we definitely improved. We knew what to do in certain circumstances where we didn't in the last tournament and things like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching it because there was, I think probably the biggest thing that I noticed from watching you guys this time around is that the overall skill gap individually compared to the other guys wasn't as big. There was a lot more winning with your individual fights. There was a lot more times where I was kind of like, oh shit, I've got a few games. You know, the capture the flag game that you guys played against A1, and you got the first flag up, pretty much straight off the bat, and then there was the disconnect. The way that you guys played to that first capture, and then probably just after that.
That'd be two.
We would have actually had an easy cap if I took the second flag to the right spot. I just jumped out and let them shoot me. Whereas we would have had two caps easily.
Yeah.
Before it ended.
Yeah. Well, my thought on that was you were just hyped off the back of a triple kill, and you just went for it. And I was like,
I literally could have just walked around to the right and just walked, and we would have been fine.
Yeah. But no, it's all good. As far as individually though, from your own perspective as a team, who do you think out of you four played the best in this comp?
That's a hard call.
Definitely not me. I'll take last position on that. Old Piprons has been improving a lot. He's been putting in the hours. I think and especially Kyle as well, getting a new controller, you can see a big difference. I don't know.
I definitely had some hot points in a few of the games. Just felt like I was hitting all my shots and making some clutch plays. But
I think the biggest thing we struggled on was we weren't all going off at the same time. Instead of one or two of us would be going off, and the rest would be sort of
Or for example, I can be slaying well, but then my objective is just trash. So working on OBJ and getting flags, getting strongholds, that can be the big difference. I think we even outslayed them in quite a few games. It's more about how we're moving and using those kills, which we're just getting. That's the focus for this next 4 weeks.
Yeah. As someone who's not a pro player, but obviously I'm really passionate about Halo, I think watching the biggest difference when I was switching between streams and watching from the different perspectives is that the urgency they've got on the back of every kill they get is just it's suffocating, and it seems to be what makes everybody kind of falter. They'll get one kill, and all of them, if they're all still alive, will just focus the next pressure and just collapse. But they keep control of the objective while doing that. And so there was a lot of times, not just against you guys, but there was a lot of times I was watching them where you could literally, it was just super methodical. They'd call out one guy that was in the open, easy to kill, pick him off. They'd hear the next call out. It was just literally and it sounds like it goes over a long period of time, but it was literally just they were just doing it so cohesively. They'd move through the map, get map control, then they'd swipe again, pick up whatever the objective needed to be, and rotate. And I think that when I was watching you guys, like you're saying, Benno, that you had a few of you going off and then everyone else not at that same level. And that was kind of the big difference, is that there were some plays where you were all going off, all four of you were just on, communication was on point, everything like that. And it was awesome to watch. But what did you guys do between the first comp and this comp to kind of improve? What was what kind of approach did you guys take?
I think
Bought some new controllers.
You go, Kyle.
I think for me the biggest thing is I went back and watched a lot of like the last couple of Halo 5 tournaments and just saw how they played certain situations, like what they controlled. And then I would go back and watch our film from scrims and stuff and see how we're doing it currently and like what we had to change. I know that helped improve us a lot in like how we're holding setups and how we break setups. We still have a lot to work on, definitely in strongholds though. I think that's our biggest issue right now is strongholds.
Yeah.
I think it's most games as well. We kind of tend to be on the front foot, but I know this Halo is definitely the hardest one to fight off the back foot. It's just one of those games where when you're in a spawn trap, like even if you're getting kills, if you're not getting them in quick succession and making map progress, their spawners can fly and reconnect so quickly that you're still essentially in a spawn trap, even if you're trading out kills.
Yeah,
so that's the hardest bit with this game that we got to get better at next.
Yeah, 100%. And what do you think? Did you have a standout game? Did any of you guys have a game that you went, hey, that kind of felt really good?
I like the Slayer Coliseum. Even though they had a good comeback, I think we had about 20 straight kills or something like that, where they just didn't show up in the kill feed once for themselves. And yeah, like they do look for the first pick well, but when we're playing positions correctly, they have to work a lot harder for that first pick. And I think that's where if we can get them on the back foot, they've got just as much trouble getting off the back foot. It's just that we don't keep them on the front foot as well as we can because we're not getting to the right positions or putting enough pressure on. And that's, again, what we're focusing on. Playing faster, taking up more map space.
Yeah. So in that 20 kills that you had, what was the key element that really worked?
I mean, I could only see it from my point of view, but I was just roaming sniper and holding down the pyramid. And when you're standing in such a powerful position, like you can get so much information, lay down so much fire, and then your teammates can just rest through the map a lot easier and just clean up your kills. But it all comes back to actually using power positions and not abandoning them to chase some useless kill.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think in every game type, Halo 5 is all about keeping them on the back foot. It's not like other games where you like get a position and just hold it. It's like you work to fight for position, then you keep pushing past it to like pressure them on their spawns, because then you can just fly back there before they even spawn. Unlike other games where it takes you so long to get back.
Yeah, awesome. And how was the energy with you guys as well? Like a lot of people didn't get to see from your stream perspective and get to hear the call outs, but how did you guys feel the energy was throughout the comps? Were you guys amped the whole time? Was there some downs? How was
it? It kind of changed for the comp. We were still trying to figure out what type of comms we liked. Like sometimes we get a bit too excited when we just need to calm down and like walk through what kind of play we're going to do. But as the later the comp went on, the better we got with it. It just started to improve more and more.
Yeah, awesome. One of the things that all the guys from A1 mentioned when I chatted to them yesterday, was a good idea for people that wanted to improve, not so much in your position, but for the guys like maybe third and down, would be to try and play in some more competitions that are online. And at the moment, I've been talking with a number of, I guess, guys that are part of HCS and part of grassroots program that are putting on a lot of competitions, 2v2s, 4v4s. Do you guys think that if you jumped into some of those games that it'd help you get more competitive experience as a team and kind of figure out those things like the comms and that type of thing?
I think 2v2s are always a good starting point. That's how I kind of got started in Halo 2. It's just easy because you don't need to find a full team. You just find anyone really, and it really teaches you to work with anyone in any position. So you can kind of take those same principles and apply it to fours. So that's I guess the starting point for a lot of people. And I think that's an easy way into fours, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Give me some goss. I mean, who's the player that you guys are having the most trouble with overall? Is there one particular standout?
We don't want to give him a big head. No, it was definitely Bucko. He went off in the finals. Just literally took us and made us all look silly multiple times.
Yeah, that guy's
I
a
think
fucking
in
nuisance
two
to
of the
kill.
games, in two of the games, he just went absolutely off. And both of those games, I think we were leading, and then he just flipped switch.
Yeah, crazy. What do you reckon separating the way that he's playing compared to everyone else?
Mainly it's his just individual skill right now. Like, I think that's my biggest downfall at the moment. Like, if I just compare directly me to him, I think, there's times where I watch his gameplay and it's like I just wouldn't play like that because I wouldn't back myself up with some of the shots that he goes for. Like, it's just crazy. But
Very
he pulls it off
confident.
and it makes, extremely confident. So this interview is probably not helping that.
No, it's a good thing. I think sometimes that, especially for young players like that, if they get hyped up, it can either be the good thing for them, but it can also be it starts to get some pressure. And now that I've said it, if Barker is watching this, that's that pressure that really competitive people that are serious don't hear it and knock it to the side. But sometimes it can be that little bit of thing in the back of your head that now everybody thinks you're playing well. Is that gonna make it harder because you start second guessing everything that you're doing because you want to make sure that, like, is that what I have been doing? Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's good to mention it because it kind of keeps up that competitive stuff. And I think like the banter between teams, I was really surprised when I spoke to them yesterday that they didn't really say anything, didn't really throw any banter towards you guys whatsoever. They just stayed talking about the stuff that they were doing really well, which, one, I was kind of impressed with, but two, I was a little bit disappointed because I thought it would have made for a much better interview if they had just been slaughtering you guys the whole time. But no, I was super impressed with the way that you guys played. And I mean, coming from a team that had so much that wasn't going your way from the get-go, with like Dan leaving like 2 days before the comp, pulling it together. Benny, you'd only come on for like fucking 2 weeks before the first comp, and it's awesome that you guys have been able to come together so much as a team as well, because what I don't think a lot of people realize, the guys in the scene do, but anyone else watching from the outside in, is that the 4 or 5 guys on the other team, excluding Vampt, because he hasn't been playing much, but the other 4 guys, they have been the most consistent guys playing Halo 5. I mean, Pips, you've been pretty consistent as well, but they've been playing the whole time. Like, the game has been a huge focus for them, and it shows with their individual skill and how well they work together. Because it's good. It's amazing what you guys have done so far. Do you think? What do you think between now and the final Halo 5 comp? What do you guys reckon that you're going to focus on improving?
Well, first of all, that's the biggest thing for us, is just kind of catching up to them, because most of us hadn't played in like 2 years, so we just had to kind of catch our skill levels back up, and I think we're pretty much there now. It's just focusing on some little things. The biggest thing we have to focus on is just playing more objective oriented. Like, I know we outslayed them like in like 3 of the games we lost in the winners finals and the finals, and so I think once we start focusing on objective a little more, I think we'll definitely be able to beat them.
Like, there's times on Empire Strongholds where we're defeating ourselves. We've got the numbers advantage, we know the play, but for whatever reason, we just didn't follow through with the play. I think it was a play where we had them a fresh 2 dead, we had overshield, we didn't collapse on blue, we just let them have it. And then there was another play where we were going to collapse blue after getting a pick, and again, we didn't collapse it. And if we did either one of those, I'm sure we probably would have won that game. So, like, it can come down to one play at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we can be like our own biggest enemy.
Ooh.
Focusing
Cut
on
out.
Yeah, you
I think you cut out then, Benny.
You cut
Yeah,
out
just start
our biggest enemy. That's what you cut out.
just like sometimes we just overthink some things, and I think sometimes we just got to back ourselves and just be confident in our own ability, because I think that's definitely my biggest flaw at the moment, is just trying to think too much while I'm playing and just letting it come naturally. I think over the next month until the next comp, I'll just be playing a lot individually just to get myself back to a standard that I can, like, at least sort of be on par with these guys, and then sure the win should follow shortly after. So
I mean, with all these things, you're saying you're overthinking. I mean, I think it's completely natural when you come back to a game and you haven't played in a while and you're playing against a team who is definitely at an international level. You're going to be thinking because it's a new situation. You haven't been in it for ages. So you're going to go through stages of learning, and then you eventually got to go to a point where you develop muscle memory. And these guys aren't thinking to the same degree that we're thinking. Like, they've done all the thinking ages ago, and now they're just playing. So the more we play, the more we develop that muscle memory. That's when the magic starts happening, where you can actually just do, not think so much.
pretty much.
Yeah. And it's such a hard thing. Whenever I'm learning something or trying to improve at something, the one thing that I kind of really, it's a funny way of doing it, but if my brain doesn't feel numb, I'm not doing the right thing. And I literally get this point where I get super frustrated and I can't concentrate on something, and I'm like, it just, it's I don't know how else to explain it other than I kind of feel numb. And then the best thing that I do at that point is I go and have a little bit of a break and I come back to it. And it's going from that, what Junior was saying, it's going from that cognitively needing to think about the actions that you're doing to it becoming subconscious, and the subconscious actions kind of take a backseat and you get to focus on something else. And that's especially for gaming where you're not really physically doing much, with your hands. And maybe your eyes, but it's all of what's going on in here, and then what you're putting into what's happening. So yeah. But I mean, again, it sounds like you beat yourself up a bit, Benno. You guys have done so well for what it is so far, but definitely don't let that stop you from putting the time and effort in as well between the next comp, because I really want to see you guys win the last one.
Really. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's just going back and watching the games and then watching sort of where I was playing before I stopped. The level I was at then is just night and day. I think that's definitely, that alone will make a huge difference. So the next month will be fun.
Awesome. Well, it is a month, and there's a lot of improvement that can happen in that month. There's a lot of time to practice and everything like that. So again, super impressed with you guys. We'll keep it nice and short and simple there. So I don't really have too much more that I wanted to ask you guys, but I love to kind of finish it off every time by kind of seeing if there's anything that you guys want to ask me, if you had any questions or any shout outs that you wanted to give or anything like that.
Shout out to you guys for running the tournament with Halo Australia. Yeah. It's so different having tournaments to actually play with. This game is so old, yet everyone's coming back and jamming it. So just having these tournaments, awesome, it's fun.
It's fun. It's just that grind, having something that you want to get better at, and just having a comp to really test yourself at the end of the week or whatever. So no, it's been awesome. It's been even though the game's been around for such a long time, it's definitely given me some motivation back. So
yeah,
you'll love that feeling again up on a Sunday for comp day.
Yeah, well, hopefully, the way that we've kind of got it planned out is there should be something pretty much every month, every weekend for you guys to focus on between now and Infinite coming out. So, I want people watching this to know that, keep grinding regardless of what it is. Even if for some reason you don't feel confident in this comp, there might be something else that happens next. There might be a little bit of a different makeup. There might be some interesting ways that you kind of play and people that you team with and that type of thing that'll give you an edge. So stay motivated even if you're not finishing in the top 3 teams or 4 teams or whatever. The guys that I've been playing with, we kind of just pick up whoever we can to kind of get in and have some fun. We've lost every single game that we've played in the Pro Tourney so far, but we've had fun doing it. So, and
that's on that with comps, you're always getting 4v4 practice when you're playing them. You're comming, they're comming. It's literally really good practice rather than just doing random mates. If you don't have a team which kind of scrims a lot, even if you just play on tourney day and just get those 6 games, for example, in just to play 4v4, it's still a great experience. And definitely can learn off it. Yeah,
100%. And I think that it just brings the community together as well. There's some people in our community that want to get better, and that's one of the things that I'm working on is trying to figure out a really consistent way of being able to kind of help players that come into the scene. I want to be able to give them when I came in, there was these like a document that Dan had typed up, and it was just way too intense for a new player. So I'm thinking about maybe having this like a little player book that we can give to anyone, and I'll just put it like in like as a file for the Divine Mind stuff that anyone that wants to get better can click on it, and it'll just be like, I don't know if you guys did it when you first started, but like I know every time that because I pretty much go through a few months on and a few months off kind of phases of playing, but every time I kind of come back, I always jump into the same kind of videos, watching things like proximities, aiming guides, or watching some of Shyway's like map movement and jumps and that type of thing. Or, there's certain resources that I kind of jump back and forward to that kind of help me get in the right mindset for playing. And I think that we've got a good resource of players, even just in our community, that can help people to improve as well. So I'm going to try and work on something like that, because it'd be good to see some younger teams kind of coming through, because that's where people like you guys come from, is from developing a community and helping it grow. And it doesn't seem like matchmaking doesn't do that as well now, because it really feels like matchmaking traps people in their skill level rather than helping them to improve. So unless you've got someone that kind of can help pull you through the ranks so that you prove outside of matchmaking and then you go back, then hopefully that's what I'll do. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time again. Really appreciate it. I'll let you guys get off to scrimming or doing whatever you're doing tonight. I will hopefully chat to you guys as the winners of the last Halo 5 tourney. So, it's good because the position that you're in, you can do so much to impress people, So I'm excited to see what you guys do in the last comp. But yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this. This has been Authority, your second place team, twice in a row for the Halo Australia Pro League Halo 5 Championship or tournaments. It's been awesome to chat with you guys. If anybody has any suggestions for questions that I didn't ask, or things that you want to know about the players or how they play or what they're doing to practice, or absolutely anything at all, leave it in the comments below. Tweet it at us on Twitter. Jump on Instagram as well. We're having a $100 60 seconds Instagram montage competition at the moment as well. That's a mouthful. But if you want to join, I can send you some information, and it's an easy way for you to pick up $100 by submitting some clips. So thank you so much again, guys. I'll talk to you again soon.